finally got her in my sight. I'm gonna get you, girl. Pretty sure that was a hit, but just to be safe, let's double tap that deer. Fire that deer!
Is that the light, Jesus?
Purchase that giant inflatable tank for a 5-second bit. My financial decisions are not smart. Bambi The Reckoning is the latest horror movie in the Twisted Childhood universe, the TCU, which is the equivalent of the MCU for fairy tale creatures turned horror. This so far is kind of the only interesting one ever since they came out with Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey. Man, has there been ton of copycats and low budget slop thrown at us. But with this particular cinematic universe, it's still grabbing my attention, and I am seeing a gradual increase in quality from each one of their movies. Now, don't get me wrong, these aren't going from, you know, what that first Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey was to something as prestigious like The Exorcist, but they are now at least getting onto the level of Sci-Fi Channel movie. And that, I think, is a major compliment for this type of category of movies. Winnie the Pooh 2 Blood and Honey, I thought was actually an entertaining, dumb, fun time. And that's not just because I cameo and am one of the integral members of the TCU. Yeah, that's right. I'm either gearing up to be the Thanos or the Howard the Duck in the universe. Either or, I am grateful. We had the Peter Pan Neverland Nightmares movie that actually kind of took me back with how serious and twisted it was. And now here we are at Bambi The Reckoning, where they've turned Bambi into a horror, vicious, killing monster. Is it any good? Well, let's stop yapping and hit play on this movie. So with the opening for Bambi The Reckoning, we get what has become kind of a tradition in this universe, and that's an animated telling of the origin of this character, Bambi. Now, a lot of it is what you remember even from the Disney classic, Bambi's mother getting killed. Yeah, I think my version was better. But although Bambi loses his mother young, he still happens to find love, meeting another deer and having a little fawn offspring. That is the scientific term for a baby deer, a fawn. Yeah, learned something new here on the 3C channel. You're welcome. But just like Spider-Man, Bambi's life cannot remain perfect and good for long because tragedy strikes again with a pharmaceutical truck carrying heavy chemicals hitting Bambi's love, killing her, and Bambi getting knocked out.
Because sometimes, no matter how hard you try to shield yourself and your family from the dangers of the world, life has other ideas.
What I love about that moment is the drivers are so scared with the murder they just committed of killing an animal, which, let's just be honest, I don't think the guy would have gone to jail for that. I have actually friends and family members that have hit deers and they're still walking free. Should I call somebody about that? Should I inform the police? Oh my God, they're murderers. But these guys are so paranoid and scared because they're doing sketchy stuff. They knock out Bambi with a shovel, almost like, no witnesses. I'm not taking any risks. I'm not going back, Johnny. But they didn't finish the job as Bambi wakes up hours later. The dude does the thing all of us do when we're depressed. Go to his local bar for a drink. But because he's a deer, that local bar is a lake that's green and intoxicated with pharmaceutical waste, giving Bambi an almost superhero-like origin where he then mutates and becomes the killer creature we know for the rest of this movie. Pausing right there for a second. All right, what a twisted childhood event.
Say that again?
You know, because this is a connected universe, I have to look at this stuff a little more closely and see how it'll connect, because Bambi is promised and on the poster of the Poohniverse movie, the movie where they will all meet up Avengers style. And well, if Bambi just got his powers from this toxic sludge, we learned in Winnie the Pooh 2 Blood and Honey that the way Winnie the Pooh and his friends in the 100-Acre Woods became these killer creatures is through experiments and a similar green goo being injected into them. So I'm seeing connections here. This is the bare minimum for a cinematic universe, if I'm being honest. Bringing us to our main characters, a mother named Xana and her son Benji, who are headed off to their family's house out in the woods for Thanksgiving. They're being driven by a taxi driver who can't keep his eyes on the road.
This is the best thing I think.
I love the reaction of Benji. His eyes look like it's giving Vietnam flashbacks.
I'm here!
The kid is terrorized and he hasn't even seen the mutated creature deer yet. After Benji is done throwing up from his traumatic experience with the taxi driver, they immediately come in contact with Bambi, who rams into their car. Now here's where I want to talk about Bambi and his design for a little bit, because look, I am obviously looking at these movies from a different perspective. You know, there was at one point I was looking at them as pure $50 slop and trying to give it the most leeway and see if there was anything there. But even then, the first movie in this universe, I just could not bear. Winnie the Pooh bear. Little pun for you. But I genuinely do think they have gotten better to the point where I still don't necessarily consider them real horror movies. But looking at the design of Bambi and even the CGI work on it, I'm a little impressed. Because while this would still not be up to like theatrical standards in a horror movie, I do think Sci-Fi Channel standards, you know, you look at something like their Sharktopus movie or Sharknado, this deer heavily competes with that and I think outdoes those visual effects. So for the kind of horror movie it is, I actually like the Bambi design and look and the CG work on it. This though forces our main characters to go by foot to their family Thanksgiving dinner, where we get introduced to a whole bunch of interesting characters. We got Grandma here, who seems to have some sort of spiritual connection with Bambi to the point that she's outside looking out, feeling Bambi's energy, even drawing him. I'm getting the idea she's like Bambi's Madam Web. Their webs are all connected, and somehow Grammy is the key to discovering what's up with Bambi. Honestly, this connection really isn't ever explained in the movie, and it's just kind of odd that the grandma character just happens to really be connected to Bambi. You also have a couple of uncles and their spouse cooking in the kitchen. They're perfectly fine. It's honestly the brat in the living room that pisses me off.
Well, actually, you're not my wrong mum.
You'll get fat, you know, if you keep eating those.
Will I?
You'll balloon like a bouncy castle. Bouncy, bouncy, bounce.
Harrison isn't just such a bully to his younger cousin, Benji, but the bro straight up throws a pillow at his crazy grandma. Your grandma's crazy, you don't throw pillows at her, buddy. You point your rifle at her and say, "What's up, Grammy? What's up?" As all this is going on, we're also being introduced to a group of hunters that are actually looking for Bambi, wanting to kill her for a specific reason we'll find out about later. But first, Bambi makes it to Thanksgiving dinner.
Go, go, go! Go, Benji!
Bambi then goes after the family, unfortunately targeting one of the aunts, Harriet, which made me kind of sad because she was honestly kind of an okay person compared to everybody else in this family. She tries locking herself in the bathroom, but yo, they did not know that the mutated geneticist would actually give Bambi intelligence where he knows how to work a knob.
Hey, you done in here? I gotta take a big deer dookie.
It's one intelligent deer. It's a horny deer too. And honestly, Harriet's death, I think, is where the movie peaks, because we get this Zack Snyder slow-mo chase scene that's something out of like the opening of Scream, where Ghostface is chasing Drew Barrymore, and Bambi just slices her in half. It's honestly a pretty cool scene, and that is one of the upsides to this franchise. I think they do deliver when it comes to the kills. As the hunters are looking for Bambi, they accidentally end up hitting one of Benji's family members, an uncle who went out to go look at the damage of the car accident. Yeah, buddy, that's why we wear orange reflective vests when we get in the woods. Just saying, he deserved that death. The family managing to get away, but the hunters right on their trail, and they really don't want you to like these hunters, although they're going after the main villain of this movie, which I assume is Bambi, because this is his reckoning.
Say that again?
They gut and almost torture Harriet like if she was an animal, and it was honestly just a effed up thing to do. You know what was more effed up? Benji killing one of his uncles accidentally. As the family is trying to move a log out of the road, Benji's uncle's in the back trying to tie it to a rope, and then once Bambi appears, Benji and his mom spring into action, and the rope snagging on the leg of the uncle, dragging him and just killing him with every foot being driven. While Benji continues to drag Uncle Andrew through the dirt, we cut back to a-hole cousin Joshua, who's trying to outrun Bambi, but is saved by one glorious miracle.
Told you I had to take a big dookie.
Poop. Animal poop. Honestly, could be human poop. These are woods with people in it. And that is pretty funny. But it's not as funny as the question Benji asks after he's done dragging his uncle.
Is he okay?
No, you're a murderer now. You're going to prison, kid. Have fun not having an iPad in prison. While Benji's mom tries to figure out if she still loves her son, we cut back to Harrison, poop-faced and all, where we get one of the biggest cameos of this movie. Oh, it's Thumper!
Good thing.
Oh my god, he kicked Thumper! No! I think everybody's with me, right? This is where I should shoot Harrison. Luckily, Thumper is like Hydra. Kill one, two more shall take its place. Leading to what I think is the second best kill of this movie. Harrison falling back, bear trapped to the face, and little Thumpers eating away at him bit by bit. I like it. He deserved it. It's at this point, however, where we finally get some more things added onto the story, with Benji finally coming in contact with his dad Simon that he's been wanting to see all Thanksgiving. Unfortunately, Simon is actually part of the hunting group looking for Bambi because he's part of the pharmaceutical company dumping waste, and Bambi is proof of their toxic sludge and the mutation it could have, possibly ruining their business.
Wilbex have been dumping chemicals for years, but these were evidently different. We didn't know that they... No!
People have died. Your own family have died.
Yeah, and I'll go to prison.
Before Simon and the mom even have time to digest this revelation, Bambi appears, wanting his revenge, going after sweet Grandma Madam Web first, but it's her web that connects them all, having Bambi spare her and instead go after everyone else. Leading us to find out that the reason Bambi's hunting them down is not just for them killing his love, but them holding his offspring hostage, crescendoing into what's supposed to be a kind of emotional climax of Bambi just wanting to rescue his child the same way the mom has just been trying to rescue Benji the whole movie. And I'm not gonna lie, like, it's super emotional and got me teary-eyed, but it is an effort I appreciate in this movie in trying to have some sort of emotional connection, and I got pretty sad once this started happening to Bambi.
Son of a bitch!
But Badman Hunter didn't count on one crazy old lady, Grandma Webb. Yeah, she said enough with just being mysterious the whole movie. I'm pulling out the gun. Sadly, the damage is done, and it looks like Bambi is dead, and his baby to cry again, repeating the cycle of violence that is just part of Bambi's life. Kind of dark comic book stuff going on right there if you think about it. Even Benji's dad Simon didn't get away with all the crimes, having Thumper take care of business. For those of you sad that Bambi's now gone, well, the end credits promise Bambi will return in typical cinematic universe fashion. I'll be honest with you, I didn't hate it. I'm still not gonna say I love or think these movies are up to the standard where a lot of people hope they are, but I genuinely think if this played on the Sci-Fi Channel, back when Sci-Fi Channel movies were a thing, I don't think it'd be one of their worst entries. There is a really good attempt with the kills in here actually being fun and crazy. The Bambi design I thought was cool, and the CGI work on it was more than passable. I think it was already easy to make Bambi a horror character, being that his origin in the traditional story is already so dark with him losing his mother. And as kind of one note a lot of the characters were, I think when it came to Bambi and her emotional send-off at the end of the movie, there was actually some emotion built up there where you feel bad for the little baby. So count me still very intrigued and on board to see where this all ends up. If anything, the next movie on their roster is the one I'm most excited for. That is Pinocchio Unstrung, the horror retelling of Pinocchio with Robert Englund playing Jiminy Cricket. We got some concept art of that a while back, and even Pinocchio will be done with a lot of practical work. I don't know, man. In an age where, like, you could so easily probably cut some corners with AI and all this other stuff, and genuine attempt in these movies where they're not coming off as schlocky as that first movie. So right now, looking at the movies in the Twisted Childhood universe, if I had to rank them, it would be Winnie the Pooh 1 at the bottom. Then I think I would go Peter Pan Neverland. Pretty solid, just I guess I would have actually liked some more supernatural elements, and they went with a grounded Peter Pan, but still an interesting take. Then I would go Bambi The Reckoning, and then Winnie the Pooh Blood and Honey 2. I think that's still the most entertaining fun. But I throw it off to you guys. You have seen Bambi The Reckoning. What are your thoughts on the Twisted Childhood universe, your pros and cons with it, and honestly, your biggest wish list for the Avengers-style movie they have coming up? I think everything. Be sure and like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter at 3C Films, or on TikTok at 3C Films. But as always, I'm Chris. Take care.